So over to you guys. Thinking about sources of optimism for 2021, would you care to share your thoughts? Atar.
I would describe myself as a happy pessimist.
Okay.
I believe at the end of the day, everybody dies and all that kind of thing, but that shouldn't stop us from doing something interesting. And I think there will not be such a thing as a transition year in 2021 that will take us into a better 2022. I think from now onward, it's going to be just a continuous period of disruption. Now, we can blame the pandemic for the disruption that is happening in 2021. But I think what happened is also a lot of people, the Jeff Bezos of the world, the Elon Musk of the world, discovered that there's a lot of wealth to be made in a crisis and in disrupting. So there'll be more of these kind of people pulling their huge organization, changing the way the market works, changing the way that we all have to fight to survive. And that's going to be the one that dictates how we would handle ourselves in 2021 and beyond. A combination of natural disasters, pandemics and all that, and a combination of what some huge organization will foist onto the world. I don't think you have to feel that you're not going to be able to make it, because we have learned a lot in 2021. So a lot of the lesson that we learned in 2021 can be put into good use in 2022 and beyond. And the fact that we have got used to the routine of having to continually relearn things, will it stand us in good stead as we face the future.
Okay. So going into next year, do you think that we're going to see a bounce based on the psychological factors of optimism that, going back to some of the points over here, that there's, a sudden shift in psychology and we're going to see a bounce? Or do you think there's going to be more of a stabilization period and it's going to, we've got a longer wait before we see the positives?
I think there will be a bounce, but it's probably going to be middle of the year onward. And I think the main reason why there will be a bounce is because I think people would feel that the vaccine and the therapeutics coming through will have sorted out how do we handle the pandemic. So they will give a lot of optimism for people. There is a lot of pent-up demand that was not served in 2020. That will have to be served in 2021. So I think there will be opportunity for businesses and for economies and for nations to bounce back.
So I'm interested in your view on, you've had a lot of C-level engagement, thinking about the psychology of, boards and executives in Malaysia at the moment. What do you think they're thinking, and where do you think their kind of strategic outlook is in terms of hiring? Do you think they're going to be cautious, or do you think they're going to sort of try and get ahead of the curve and perhaps get the talent they need more quickly ahead of everyone else?
Unfortunately, too many organizations and too many boards and too many C-level will be too cautious. Because I think that's part of the Malaysian psyche, that we tend to be overly cautious. And I think they're going to miss out on all of the great opportunities and possibilities because of being ultra cautious. There will be some organizations, though, maybe not the marquee names of today, that we'll see this as an opportunity to grow, to become even more digital and to use the digitalization to create new business model, stuff that we haven't even figured out yet. And these are going to be the stars of the future. A lot of the existing companies, I believe, will just continue on the way they have always been, more focused on survival rather than thriving.
Okay, no, fair enough. Liz, interested in your perspective. I mean, you operate within a growth sector, technology, audio, electronics, software. So perhaps you're maybe more optimistic than most, but interested in your thoughts.
I think I'm gonna be a bit selfishly optimistic, if I may. I am very optimistic on the way a lot of HR people reacted to the situation. I think our ability overall to step out of our comfort zone, probably take even a bit more responsibility in a lot of businesses, and be this key people naturally. Is something that made me very optimistic, because I think probably the old HR is in the way of dying anyway, but because of what happened in the pandemic and the key role we had to, it has been a catalyst for this change within HR as well. So this is for me very optimistic, because I think somehow we have a different role to continue to play, and to go back to Václav's point, we are going to be the ones saying, guys, we need to help people go back into optimistic just because it helps. But also don't forget the pain point that we need to tackle. And don't forget that we are actually need to do real field work to make sure that the businesses also continue to be. So hopefully if we can do those both things and go back into the positive mindset but tackle the real problem, then HR is matters even more, and we can build the new HR that is going to help the company as best as possible. So that's probably my selfish positive outcome of this.
Sounds good to me, though. Sounds good to me. Simon, interested in your perspective on talent acquisition practices. So I know you've been very kind of exploratory and kind of experimental, sort of navigating the current market with different platforms and ways to drive engagement, which has been really cool. But sort of rationalizing all of that, what are the things that you think are really here to stay? What do you think are the stayers, the keepers for 2021 practices in terms of some of the tools and platforms you've seen?
From a practices perspective in terms of talent acquisition, I think the shift is more in the workforce planning element. So where people normally, set up, do their workforce planning, look at critical mass hiring in terms of this is the roadmap for a year, this is the amount of people that we need to achieve it. I think we've shifted to a more organic, so we've not stopped hiring. We're still hiring quite a few people at the moment, but not as many as the roadmap originally dictated. But those roles won't get shut down. They're just being slightly delayed. So like I say, it's that organic versus critical mass hiring. In terms of trends, I don't think, recruitment, and we covered this a little bit last time, right? It's not shifted so much. So like I say, we're digitizing some functions, we're automating some functions. So like I say, we're bringing in a new sort of employer branding driven careers page, which is a lot more interactive with images and embedded videos and things like that. We're looking at now an AI recruitment bot on the front end as well, which is what I'm playing about. I love recruitment technology.
Yes.
And then we're just we're implementing new ATS as well. So I mean, from my perspective, bringing tools in, you don't always need to go and hire lots and lots of people to achieve what you need to do. So we're leveraging tools a lot more than people. I would say that's the main change.
Do you think this is a trend in the market? Obviously you're kind of trailblazing to a degree, but do you think we're going to see more of that? Do you think, because at the end of the day, I think we all agree we need to see Malaysia raise the game a bit in terms of talent operations. Do you think that this is going to buck the trend, some of the things you're talking about?
I think it will, but it needs to be done properly. You can't just go and throw money at technology and then expect it to replace people. It's still got to be humanized, got to be driven. Yeah. If I can have a little bit of tech on the front end that can do a small pre-screen for me to get, so I don't need 10 resources, then that's cool. But trying to replace the whole recruitment function with technology will never work.
Got it. No, thanks, Simon. Shireen, just to sort of close some of the thoughts on kind of projections for 2021. I know you love the macro piece, and the bigger picture around Malaysia. Look, just interested to sort of get some closing thoughts on 2021 projections.
I think we've talked about a lot with stability and transformation. I think 2021 to beyond will be transformative. So then a lot of things are going to, it's either we take it on the upside and the transformative sort of element of it brings us forward in a very positive direction. Or you could actually fall and go into the dark side of trying to recover from this. So let's look at I'm a hopeless optimistic.
Yes.
If Azhar is a pessimistic.
Happy pessimistic.
Pessimistic. I'm a hopeless optimistic, and I'm sandwiched between two thoughts here. But looking at the trends and where we're going, I think 2021 and beyond will be where we have more choices. We will have to make the decisions that's going to bring us to where we may not have the courage to sort of change and do this, but you're forced into a situation where you got to do it and sort of look at the choices that's available for you and then take it on. because of whatever reasons, survival, a new way of doing things, new opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's about choices and opportunities. It's about being optimistic about how we're going to grab that, and really partnership and collaboration.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know a topic close to your heart, your GigX business, for instance, is about getting interim workers into assignments.
Yep.
Do you think the kind of disruption in the market has led to more of an openness towards hiring people on assignments for their expertise?
Absolutely.
Less about permanent. Do you think that we're going to finally go down that route?
Yep. That's the transformative element that makes me very excited.
Yeah.
Because now, there's availability of roles that fits the skill set and the expertise the person has.
Yeah.
And it's, time bound. So you do various projects and you get involved in various projects that, number one, you're skilled to do. And, you're also, very excited because these projects are going to bring the kind of outcomes that perhaps you couldn't do if you had a traditional role.
Are you seeing kind of springs of opportunity, coming up in the market? Are CEOs starting to talk more openly about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
encouraging.
Because the market may not be as vibrant as we'd like it to be, but the projects and things that needs to be done requires the talent to actually then get on with it. If you're not hiring permanent, you're looking at high value talent who would do these projects and then get you going.
Yeah.
And it's a good sort of win-win situation on both sides. You get the right talent for the projects, and you have the right sort of budgets around it.
Yeah.
And there's no additional cost, but you get things done. And people work in a flexible way already anyway.
Yeah.
So the platform that we've created is something that will bring that together very nicely.
Well, we've got to keep banging that drum. Definitely room for improvement in the market there, for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see more of it in 2021.
Yep.
I guess sort of closing question, one of the topics we've been talking about across the interview series that we've been running, I'd be interested from the HR practitioners specifically here. One of the topics has been raising the bar for HR, becoming more transformative, and also more about business partnering, getting HR to be more front and center within the boardroom and then its impact cascading across the business, Less about payroll and process, more about driving change. So, I'd be interested in, from our HR guys specifically, in terms of thoughts and optimism around that. Do you see has the way been paved for more of a transformative impact, would you say?
One of the biggest casualty that should come out of the 2021 pandemic debacle, or what should be one of the biggest casualty, is the entire organizational budgeting process. There's no way for you to be able to go out there and say that by the end of 2021, we're going to have X amount of revenue and Y amount of profit and all that kind of stuff, even though many people still do that. Now, if you cannot have that and you need to have something much more flexible, the HR organization also need to have something much more flexible. There is no such thing as a manpower plan anymore. You shouldn't be building your processes to try to meet some arbitrary artificial number on some spreadsheet. You should be building flexibility. You should be building agility in the organization. And that's the tough thing that many HR people don't know, because basically many of them are just taking stuff from the headquarters or just building processes. The difficult part is the disruption applies to everybody, but I also feel that not everybody is going to be able to make it. The transformation that we need to build, the engagement that we need to build, obviously will have some transactional nature. We need to be doing A, B, C, D to make sure that people are happy. But the tough part of engagement is creating the vision that people can sign up to and people can believe, so that they will be kept whole and motivated regardless of what's happening around them. And I think that's the part that is very difficult. And in the past, during the good time, we never really put too much emphasis on it. And this is the part that HR and organization as a whole need to be super good at. We have a very clear roadmap of how we're going to deal with whatever that the future is going to throw at us. And we're going to go in it together. And no matter what happens, we're going to be fine. Of course, apart from that, there will be the thing that we need to do to comfort the people, the transactional thing, the engagement thing, but we also need to be doing a lot of things to disturb comfortable, and I think that's probably one of the best advice anybody can get.
Do you think the whole pandemic experience has kind of shone a light on the value of HR and that they'll be more valued in future for their opinion and their impact?
It does. I think it has put the spotlight squarely well, obviously not totally just on HR, but it has focused the fact that we need to find a way to deal with the current environment better because nobody foresaw what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it caught some people by surprise in the beginning, but many people are coming on to it. Many people are learning lessons from it. And I think we're going to end up with a much more versatile, much more effective organization, HR organization within the corporations.
Absolutely. Okay. Václav, down the other end of the table, thoughts on HR and its kind of role as a transformative impact. Do you think the prospects are better for HR to have their say, to have an impact?
I think earlier this year there was a unique chance for HR to either seize the opportunity and show what we are capable of and show that we are truly the catalyst of change in the company. And I think many employees were looking up to HR in that period of time because they expected some kind of leadership and advice in terms of how we go on, because we were put into a situation that we had to, decide how we operate from tomorrow onwards. Whether we shut down or how can we operate. And there was a lot of strain on very fast decision making, analyzing the information, making the right decision, and then communicate it in the right way, and make sure that we filter out all the communication noise that was present all over during that time. And I think those HR leaders and departments that took it for, that seized the opportunity, I think they did the best in terms of raising their profile and lifting up their game or our game in terms of having more say in the management board or basically in how we drive the business.
Okay. Hopefully that's a source of optimism.
Of course.
Excellent. Liz, finally, thoughts from yourself around, I know you're very passionate about business partnering in particular and the role that HR can play across different departments. Any thoughts on the impact of this year going into next year?
I think I've shared already. I'm much optimistic about the HR and how HR can move forward in this. There is probably something that hopefully we can all focus on is there is going to be and there is already a lot of noise across the business. We keep using that word in our organization. I think it's valuable. There is going to be a lot of different things, and the more the business is going to pick up, the more there's going to be around, oh, this is the priority to go back. Oh, this is this one, this is this one. And our ability to drive change by focusing on the priorities itself and somehow to say, okay, guys, this is must have, this is nice to have. And to go back to Václav's point, there is going to be must have that are going to be painful to tackle. We have to. We cannot only focus on the bright side of things. We have to get the balance. And HR leading these priority settings, obviously with the business, they have to come from the business. But if we can get rid of the noise and have the company focusing on what matters in those transitions, I think we have a lot of added value as a support function, because at the end is always what we need to do. We need to support the business, and setting the right priorities to pick up the few things that are going to happen in 2021 is where we have a lot of value and what we can do for our employees, but also for our partners.
Awesome. Yep. Well, look, I think that brings us to a bit of a natural conclusion, guys. So I guess all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you to all of you for bringing your thoughts and ideas to the table today. It's been fantastic.
With pleasure.
There's obviously some sources of optimism for 2021, but I think there's also some room for caution and a sense of us needing to take ownership and really be accountable for what 2021 looks like. But look, thanks for sharing all your thoughts across HR, talent acquisition, and all the great things that we've been up to this year. So hope it was a good session for you guys and look forward to seeing you in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Merry Christmas.